As my mentor has told me a lot of times, man plans and God laughs. And I wanted to give you a couple examples of that. Number one, sound a little different this week. That's because I tested positive for COVID on Monday. Thankfully, we do so much now by Zoom that this really hasn't affected what I want to do and committed to do. I've made all the calls and had the discussions with prospects, mentees, etc. that I plan to do. So you are going to run into setbacks. Just adapt, overcome, and keep pushing through those. But in terms of some of the things that are super important, one of them is to follow these acquisition steps. And I want to give you an example of something here that's a pretty good example of that. It's from a mentee, never met this person, but hello, Bruce. I would like to start by thanking you for suggesting the deep dive in my message to you in LinkedIn. In my search for board members, an acquisition candidate fell into my lap, and he's pretty motivated. How should I handle this? It's a perfect business in exactly the industry I'm in with exactly the business model I'm going after. Thank you for everything you do for your students. Regards. Okay, so first of all, most of the time when somebody jumps the steps, it's a bad thing. And I'm trying to think if there's any time that it hasn't been a bad thing. Maybe there has been, but none that come to mind. The other thing is there are rarely perfect opportunities. You will find another opportunity. What you can do in this specific case is keep that person warmed up. Maybe that person is also a potential board member that has a lot of requirements to it, obviously, but that's a possibility. So keep that prospect warmed up. Continue to do the steps of building your board, getting your professionals, talking to financial institutions, and then you are ready to go in the hunt. But jumping to do an acquisition where you don't have the board to give you counsel, you don't have the accountants and the lawyers to write purchase and sale agreements, non-disclosures, letters of intent, etc., then you will be behind the eight ball and potentially walking yourself into a lot of problems. So if you take away one thing from this, take away that you want to follow the steps. Lastly, COVID can be bad. Obviously, we have come a long way in terms of knowing how to deal with it and what works and what doesn't work. In that way, since I am at an advanced age, according to my doctors, they prescribed a oral antiviral, which has seemed to help. So that's a good news. So take a look at your situation. Take a look at how you can push through and still accomplish your goals. But most important towards this process, follow the steps. If you are on my mailing list, great. If not, go over to brucewhipple.com, grab the free class. That'll put you on the mailing list. If you want to go there directly, it's go.brucewhipple.com/free class. There is one opening in the VIP Mastermind group coming up in early July. If that has interest, just go to the website, look at the details. You'll see it says sold out. Don't pay attention to that. Email me if you understand the time commitment and you also understand the financial commitment, and we'll talk about whether you might be a fit for that program. So, on that note, keep pushing, but follow the steps.